that pulls. I wanna give a big shout out to the riffs. Keep producing that fire. Let's go. Cause when it all begins, my eyes on the prize, so it's on again. I refuse to lose, I ain't gon' pretend. I thought I told you I was born to win. Everybody loves a winner. Victory I choose. Ain't no turning back, cause I paid my dues. I tighten up my laces when I tie my shoes. Born to win, I refuse to lose. Everybody loves a winner. My adrenaline rushing through my veins. Next stop is victory. It's rushing like a train. I'm determined to win, cause it's nothing like the pain of defeat. I refuse to remain incomplete. Got a lot of stamina, cause I trained for some weeks. Got my strength from the vitamins and the grains that I eat. All obstacles overcame, I'm unique. I started from the bottom, see I came from beneath. The sky's the limit, so I'ma raise to my peak. Winning is everything, let me explain what I think. Practice makes perfect, so when working I don't relax. I practice a lot, therefore I'm perfect, and that's a fact. Been through some hard times while the burden was on my back. It was rough, but I was determined, so I adapt. Getting what I'm deserving, holla back. Game over, you lost like a person without a map. Everybody loves a winner, cause when it all begins, my eyes on the prize, so it's on again. I refuse to lose, I ain't gon' pretend. I thought I told you I was born to win. Everybody loves a winner. Victory I choose. Ain't no turning back, cause I paid my dues. I tighten up my laces when I tie my shoes. Born to win, I refuse to lose. Everybody loves a winner. My competition said I wasn't ready to face him. My teammates said I think we need to replace him. All the haters used to say, boo, we hate him. I wanna thank y'all for the inspiration. Waited a long time for my time, I'm anxious. Something like a doctor, cause I got patience. May the best man win, the worst man lose. Last man no choice, the first man choose. I was born as a leader, that's what I gotta be. I don't follow rules, I let the rules follow me. I'm a focused man on the loose, animal out the cage. An ambitious and vicious champion with a rage. What's the difference between a champion and a challenger? A champion already conquered his caliber. You tryna become a champion became. I got more wins than a hurricane. Everybody loves a winner, cause when it all begins, my eyes on the prize, so it's on again. I refuse to lose, I ain't gon' pretend. I thought I told you I was born to win. Everybody loves a winner. Victory I choose. Ain't no turning back, cause I paid my dues. I tighten up my laces when I tie my shoes. Born to win, I refuse to lose. Everybody loves a winner. That's why I eat finer foods, complete wiser moves. I'ma retire you. No remorse for these tired dudes. Let's celebrate the victory. I won like 3 minus 2. It's only what you make it, that's what we gotta remember. But deep down inside, everybody's a winner. You gotta work hard January to December. Finish what you start and you could be a contender. Watch the man in the mirror, look into your inner self, maintain health and never be a quitter. Gotta shine like the sun, flow like the river. You see a chance to win and take it like a picture.
Welcome to this week's Real Tuff Talk. We're gonna do things a little different this week. You know, we're mainly gonna talk about the playoff matchups. If you see on the bottom, we have a rundown on the scores and little things that we noticed on Saturday. But we're mainly gonna emphasize on the playoff matchups. Who's gonna play who?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a quick score count. If you don't know by now, I'm Stephen J. This is a Ghost. We're gonna just give you a quick rundown because we really want to focus on the matchups, the playoffs, maybe a little bit of the All-Star game, stuff like that. So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. But if you missed this rundown, you can look in the bottom of the screen. You'll see the scores coming up across the screen. Untouchables had a doubleheader. They was able to beat Hunts Point, and then they was able to beat Riot Squad 18-0. Black Stallions, they had 2 games. One of them was a forfeit. As y'all know now, New Breed dropped out of the league due to financial difficulties. Only our issue is they didn't discuss it with us. They didn't let us know, you know, throughout the whole season that they was going to have issues, so they decided to drop out the league. So unfortunately, the league had to take a hit, but thank God we'll be able to cover up for that. But that's why next year we're going to be more strict on the league fee because now, this is 2 years in a row we've been burned. We can't go through this again next season, so just to let y'all know that. Black Sounds was able to beat YMM 12-6 in overtime, in a quadruple overtime, I would say. MVR was able to beat LPAC 20-6. The Browns blew out Brick Squad 27-0. YMM bounced back and they beat Black Planet 8-0.
Animal Planet.
Animal Planet, I'm sorry. And you got to realize, YMM did not play with their starting quarterback, Ralph. Caesar decided to rest them because they had a championship game in another league. So that's the only reason I feel that they had difficulty scoring this week, because that usually does not happen with this team. LPAC was able to beat Ball So Hard 16-0. And like I said, Black Science got the win against New Breed on the forfeit. And Animal Planet got the win against New Breed with the forfeit. Now we're going to get into the playoff scenarios. You got Reckless clinching the number 1 seed, 5-3. LPAC clinching the number 2 seed, 5-3. LPAC lost to Reckless, that's why they're the number 2. Black Stallions pick up the number 3 seed, 5-3. All three teams are tied, but Black Stallions lost to LPAC and Reckless. Riot Squad picks up number 4 at 4-4. YMM picks up number 5 at 4-4. Riot Squad beat YMM, and Hunts Point picks up the number 6 seed, 3-5. So we're going to talk about the first matchup, which would be Black Stallions, the number 3 seed, versus Hunts Point, the number 6 seed. In the regular season, Hunts Point actually beat Black Stallions 13-12.
Whoa, I wouldn't say beat. I would say scrape by, because they lost. They won that game by 1 point, 13-12. So, they were both, battling back and forth. The offense wasn't performing the way they needed to. Both teams were inconsistent on offense, and defense was going back and forth. So this may be another close game, just like how it was before. Now, one thing I can say about Hunts Point is they at least are solidified as quarterback. They have a solid quarterback in Clark. He showed that in the last couple games.
Solid, but wait a minute. Clark, this is the issue with my problem with Hunts Point. They don't know who their quarterback is. Now, 1 week it was that. We talked about Dap. Dap has not looked the same since week 1. And I guess, remember, he played against weak teams.
Well, I'm going to say this. Yes, it was against weak teams, but I'm going to say this. The spotlight getting on him may have been what kind of made him nervous. Everybody's looking at him. He's 14. He's supposed to have... Everybody had high expectations from week 1, how he was supposed to do. But he had 4 touchdowns against... What was that team? Animal Planet. How many games did they win this season?
They actually went 1-7.
But you can't count that win. Come on. Let's not even talk about that. My point is, against Animal Planet. So that's not saying much. So to have the spotlight, especially from you, pointed to them, to him, was his downfall. He's still an up-and-coming person. He's still not there yet. So to have the spotlight pressed on him all of a sudden probably was too much. Clark, as a veteran, I feel that he should have been the starter from the beginning, because they actually did a little better with Clark, even though they were on a long losing streak this season after, week 2 or week 3. Mm-hmm. They even lost to Brick Squad in a big game in between week 5 and week 6. Mm-hmm. So, they have to really make sure that everything is solid coming this game and beyond, because to lose games that they've lost doesn't necessarily look good for them.
I mean, excuse me. I looked at the numbers, and Dak finished the season 6-9, 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. If you take out the 4 touchdowns he threw in week 1, he threw 2 touchdowns since then. Horrible year. Mm-hmm. But he's a rookie quarterback, you can say. Clark does not have a deep arm like that. That arm is stronger doing downfield.
Probably.
But Clark can move the ball. He can scramble. But when you take his energy off of the defense because he's focusing it all on the offense, I say it hurts him. Mm-hmm. It hurts that team. I mean, they need to figure out who they're going to do. If Clark is going to play, let him start. Mm-hmm. Don't let Dap start the game off, put you in the hole, which he did against Black Stallions. He threw 3 interceptions. Let Clark start, let him get the rhythm going, and go that way. Don't start Dap and then pull him out. That makes no sense to me. If you don't got faith in this kid, don't start him. Let Clark start. That's what I would say. This kid Moss, in that game, he had 3 catches, 1 touchdown. Josh had 1 catch and a touchdown. Moss got to get more involved in the passing game. This kid is lethal when he's on the outside. He finds ways to get open. He goes and gets the ball. He doesn't like contact, which is why they got to keep him on the outside. He's not going over the middle to catch the ball. He's scared of contact. Keep him on the outside. He makes some catches. That's what I feel. I think their defense hasn't been the same since Clark had to throw. They're not as aggressive. They're not as, shifty. They play a little lag ever since Clark had to throw for this team. When Clark was able just to focus on defense and playing receiver, it helps this team out. So I think that's going to be their downfall. So Black Stallions, I think they are the weakest number 3 seed in this league. Remember, they finished the season 5-3. 2 of those games was forfeit that they won. Tico's been up and down. You never know what you're going to get. Their best player is Mike. He's an all-star. Mike having 2 big interceptions in that game. And then you had Xavier who had 1. Bazard's had 2 sacks. I could go on and on. This team basically was able to stand their ground against the Renegades. But Renegades still was able to win 13-12. With that, throwing 3 interceptions. So my thing is, you would expect them to have jumped out to a bigger lead, but they was unable to do that. Tico even threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think Tico's underrated. He had 8 interceptions, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Nobody talked about him. So I guess you got to see what type of Black Stallions team is going to be there against the Renegades. I actually think Renegades will upset Black Stallions. Because I said before, I think Black Stallions are one of the weakest number 3 seeds in the league. That's my opinion. That's what I think.
Now, in terms of Black Stallions, like in terms of in the playoffs, I feel that if Hunts Point plays Clark from the gate, if they play him from the beginning, they don't put Dap in, to get him in rhythm and all of that. Sometimes they end up in the hole because of that. If they start Clark off from the gate, they'll win this game.
So you think that Clark should start?
Yes.
They should scrap the Dap project.
As of right now, they can't afford it. They can't afford to get this young quarterback in rhythm. I feel like he should just stay on the sidelines and just watch Clark. And, the main thing with him is the decision making.
Right.
It's not necessarily the arm or the talent. He has it. It's just the decision making. When to throw the ball, who to throw it to, and where. So that's what he has to watch. Because I think Clark has that down pat.
But he doesn't have the arm.
Exactly. He probably doesn't have the arm like that does, but he knows exactly where to throw it to. He knows when to take a sack. He knows when to roll out. So he's smarter on that aspect. He's more experienced.
Right.
So I feel if they do that from the beginning and their defense plays solid, Hunts Point can take this game from Black Stallions early.
But my issue is when you put Clark to start at quarterback, now you put him to start, I think it weakens the Renegades' defense. They're not as strong on defense.
But in all honesty, it can afford that, at least for this game.
So you think you don't fear Black Stallions' offense?
I do not. I don't. I don't think they should. Why? Because Tico had decent numbers.
8 and 5, 8 touchdowns.
But who did he have these numbers against? He didn't have these numbers against the stronger teams in the league. Like you talk about Sniper in the same sense, but it's the same thing. He didn't play any real defenses that would really give him a real hard game. So, he didn't really put these numbers up against NVR or the Browns or even LPAC. So, I can't say that he's a person to worry about. You say that they're not talking about him. I don't feel like they should be talking about it, at least not yet. Maybe he could show us something in the playoffs where it matters the most. Show why they're 5-3. But I told you, this is a quarterback and this is a passing league. If your quarterback is not doing well, your team is not going to do well. So that's for him to step up and show us something.
They got to get Mike more involved though. From Black Stallions, they got to get him more involved. The kid is up there for Defensive Player of the Year. The kid makes plays on both sides of the ball. He's a great athlete. He goes and gets the ball. They got to find him throughout the game. I think they got to put him in different type of coverages. And if the way you beat Black Stallions, shut Mike down. Don't let him beat you. So that's what I would do. So to me, that's the key to beating the Black Stallions. Shut Mike down. Let him, whatever side he's on, throw to the other side. Mike is their only playmaker. He's their only guy that can sit down and change this game up. Whoever else they have really hasn't showed us anything. He is their MVP. He is a star player. I think everything starts and ends with him. Renegades, the way you shut them down is don't let Moss get these little sneaky catches. He's one of their top receivers, but he's also big when he lines up on the outside. That's what you got to do. Line him up on the outside. The kid, I believe, had 2 touchdowns against Black Stallions last game. So they gotta find a way to shut this kid down. He's young. He looks like he don't have anything, and then he makes some big catches. So they gotta shut him down. Keep Clark in the pocket. Clark can roll out. Get a fast ball giver. Put pressure on him. You put a slow ball giver on Clark, he's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat him. Buy more time and let go of the ball. So you want to beat Renegades? Keep Clark in the pocket. Don't let him move the ball downfield. Don't let him scramble and get those little runs on you. Keep him in the pocket. Make him dance in the pocket. Have somebody that can keep up with him. That's how you beat this team. This team is 3-5. They're not a great team. They have a lot of guys, but they're not a great team. They had guys from Carver. I don't really know his name, but he disappeared. He hasn't been what I've seen him be with Chuck. They're not going to him. It's a big guy. You know, unfortunately, I'm dying because I don't know his name, but I know he's an impact player. They haven't gone to him. They got a big guy, number 44, who rushes the passer very well. They got to get him involved. Nobody in the league can block Renegades number 44. He is a truck when it's time to blitz. They just got to know when to blitz, when to use him. I would use him in a lot of third down series, you know, because he's going to put pressure on them. And again, they don't have anybody to really make plays. If I'm Renegades, I'm matching up Clark against Mike. I'm putting Clark to guard Mike. Clark can shut Mike down. And I would love to see that matchup.
Yeah.
I would love to see that matchup. Tico got to continue to do what he's doing for the Black Stallions. Move the ball, make plays, let nobody talk about you. Nobody needs to talk about you. Make the plays you need to make things happen. That's what I would do. Once again, I kind of picked Renegades to upset Black Stallions. I think I gave you a score before. I'll give you again. I would say 20-12. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think 20-12 was my number for this game. That's what I think.
I also picked the Renegades to win this game, just because I've seen, even though they kind of fell a couple of games, you know, they had a good amount of hard games that they played in the season. So I would say that they would scrape by again, maybe along the lines of about it may be a higher scoring game. I think that Mike is gonna have a big game for Black Stallions again, and I think it's gonna be towards the wire, probably a game probably 20-18. You know, because both teams struggled to score the extra points. So I think that Hunts Point is gonna scrape by 20-18. That's my score.
Okay. The next game we're going to talk about is the other wild card game, Riot Squad versus YMM. They played in the regular season in that big snow game, and Riot Squad was able to beat YMM in overtime on that controversial call. If you look back at the videos, we went over the call about face guarding or whatever. Riot Squad won 24-18 in overtime. This game was a battle, back and forth. It's hard to sit down and say what would have really happened. It was a lot of snow, so we couldn't really see Rudy take off like he usually would, and I think that kind of affected the offense. They were able to win because we were able to see Rudy's arm. A lot of people figured Rudy could only run, but that game, because of running, because of the field conditions, we was able to see the type of arm this kid got. He has a gun. He can get that ball downfield, and that's when Kill Bill went off. He was finally healthy. He went
I feel
off.
that was a difference maker for Riot Squad. I think that is their best player on offense besides Rudy, and I feel he should be Rudy's main target in the playoffs coming, because if he wasn't there, I mean, Pig had a great touchdown to make them go into overtime, you know, which is a big loss for them since he's injured. He's out, but Kill Bill was a big, you know, a big player for them in the last couple weeks.
That's true. I mean, they got Kill Bill. They got to get Johnny more involved. We barely seen Johnny touch the football. Rudy, you gotta get Johnny the ball. Johnny's a great receiver. He goes over the middle, goes to get the ball. You gotta get that guy the football. He's a great player, great blocker. Like they lost Pig for the rest of the year. That's gonna hurt them. Mike and Light, y'all guys gotta step up on defense. With Mike pressuring Ralph, I don't think they have anybody that can block Mojo.
No.
So if they could get somebody if they could get him to pressure on that blitz, Ralph is not a runner. I think that will really help this team out. I also believe that Rudy can make plays on defense. A lot of people don't know Rudy gets interceptions on defense. He plays in deep zone. So the guy got enough speed to make plays. So I think what we saw is gonna be kind of the same game. Physical, trash talking. I think that's the type of game we're gonna see. I don't think the score is gonna be the same. I think it's gonna be more of a higher score. YMM. Ralph already proved his can in this series. To stop YMM, there are three main guys. Rico, Josh, Brandon. The three amigos. Those guys are beasts. Especially Rico. Rico had 2 touchdowns in the game against Riot Squad. That's when I think Rico took off. 2 big touchdowns, a big interception. He took off. Josh had a big interception. Brandon had a big interception. So that's when we got to see YMM actually show the stuff that they can do. So we got to see what they think. I mean, what do you think of YMM?
I think in terms of Ralph, like I said before, he's a deep guy. He's a deep passing quarterback. You know, one weakness of his is he doesn't do well throwing the short routes, you know, chopping up the field, because you know these guys, his receivers are kind of young, they're unstructured, so they don't necessarily run, you know, routes. They don't run specific designed routes. So certain times they'll run into the defense, certain times they'll slide on the field. So it's certain things that he struggles on when they throw short. So on that, to beat them, you have to stop the deep ball and keep Rico locked. Once you lock him down, it's harder for them to move the ball. You know, so, and on defense, you got to watch where Rico is on the field. You got to watch what part of the field he's lining up on and watch where you throw it to him, because he has enough speed to cheat and get that ball. So he's the main person you watch for on YMN. You know, like you said, they have other guys, like they have Josh. They have Jeremy too, who's a big playmaker for their team. So I feel there's certain guys you have to watch on YMM, but their main thing is the deep ball. You take that away and they do not win as many games as they do in the season, and I feel like it's harder for them to score going forward.
What we saw against LPAC, when they took away YMM's deep ball and Ralph had to throw underneath, these guys couldn't catch that little zip. It's a lot of drop balls. Swag was able to pick one off and run back. So they're a different team when you make them throw underneath. Take away their deep ball, make them throw underneath. And it's a lot of times, this team kills themselves. They get flags for cursing, personal fouls for over-aggressive hitting, hitting defensive players. This team can beat anybody, but they have to play together. When they sit down and they get too caught up in the game, it's like they're a ticking time bomb. So I think that's going to be a cause of them losing if they don't get it together. Riot Squad, on the other hand, they lost their leader. They haven't been the same since they lost their leader. They lost the last game 18-zip. Mojo has to pressure the quarterback. I think that's a big play. Rudy got to find Kill Bill downfield. Got to find Kill Bill. Got to find Johnny going over the middle. You got to find his receivers to make plays. Light got to get involved. So I think this is going to be a big game. I'll give it the score of, I would say, let's say 24. I'll say 24-18. I give it to YMM. YMM was one of my picks to make it to the end of it. Maybe possibly to go to championship. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But I pick 24-18 YMM.
24-18 YMM. That's a fair score. I would have to, pick Riot Squad for this
Obviously,
game.
you're going to pick the opposite of me.
No, not necessarily. I feel like this game is going to be very important. If they all come, this is a game that I feel like they're going to play hard and win for Pig. Their leader. You don't
Like they won the last game from 18-7 when they got blanked.
I mean, yeah.
They won that game from
True, but my point is this is a playoff, so now they know that this was what matters. Because Mojo wasn't even there.
Okay.
And he's another big guy, for them on defense, and he's a person that gets them in the game.
Right.
So
Mojo
he wasn't there.
Kill Bill wasn't there.
The
Johnny
field was
wasn't there.
quiet.
Right.
So they didn't really have anything there. So if everybody's there, I feel like Riot Squad is gonna play hard. They're gonna play together. They're gonna win this game for Pig. I feel this one is gonna be 2014 Riot Squad.
2014 Riot Squad. If they show up.
Yes. I feel because if Mojo can pressure Ralph, that's a difference maker. If Light can make big plays on defense, that's another difference maker. If Kill Bill is lights out the way they need him to, the way he should be on offense, going for that ball, I think that's another difference maker. And I feel that Rudy will be able to put up points on this game.
I want to see Rudy guard Rico on defense.
That actually would be a good matchup.
I would like to see that. Rudy's a quarterback, but Rudy could play defense, peoples, and Rico is both sides of the ball type player. So I would love to see Rudy guarding Rico. Because Ralph is going to go downfield with it. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens. But I think I got to pick Wyman. I think Riot Squad is so inconsistent. We don't know what type of team they are. One week they look this way, one week. And Caesar, the coach of Wyman, Caesar, actually has a ball giver to stop Rudy's running. He had in that game against them in the snow, but obviously Rudy couldn't run anyway because of the snow. But he has a guy designed just to stop Rudy taking off. Okay. You keep Rudy in the pocket, what happens? We're gonna have to see. But I think
it's kind of hard because I seen Rudy shake some guys on the field when he was running that ball. So just because you're fast enough to keep up with him doesn't mean that you can stop him. All he has to do is make one move,
right? Get
you off balance, and he's gone. So my point is, just because you have a guy that can keep up with Rudy doesn't mean that he's going to stop him.
Well, this kid was brought in is like similar to you bring Luol Deng to guard LeBron. Or you bring Shumpert to guard Wade. They brought this kid just to stop a running quarterback.
Well, you got to use the word contain, not stop.
I think he can stop him.
Okay, we'll see.
I think he can stop him.
We'll see.
I think he can stop him. We're going to see, but I think I'm right. As y'all saw all season, I've been right. I'm the right guy.
Of course.
He's just the wrong guy.
Of course,
He's the wrong guy for the job. He's the wrong guy to be sitting besides me. Mm. I should be either sitting with some beautiful co-host or a mirror of myself.
I've been on the money enough for you to take my words seriously, and a lot of people have already said so. So let's just keep it at that. My words should be taken seriously because I know what I'm talking about.
You know what your commentating is before we talk about the next game, which we're going to get into, Untouchable versus Ball So Hard. Your commentating is atrocious.
There you go. What's your favorite word again?
Atrocious.
Okay.
The way you commentate games is atrocious. Okay. But, hey, he's my brother, so what do you want me to say? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to talk about the next game, which is going to be Untouchables versus Ball So Hard. Untouchables. Number 3 seed. They finished the season, I believe, 6-3. 6-2. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna go to the paper, but anyway, are they a threat? Who's their quarterback? That's the issue. I mean, do you think JR? They had another guy throwing that first game. What do you think of him?
I think he's okay. He's not JR. I can say that he's not JR. And I was told that JR didn't play those certain. He doesn't play certain games when he's resting his arm. Okay. He doesn't want to throw his arm out on 2 games.
Oh yeah, he's that great.
Like I said, certain people, would play through those games, and certain people won't. I mean, they were playing Ball So Hard, so I don't think you really need, JR to play at his maximum for a game like that. So, not to insult Bo so hard, but, what can I say?
Well, Untouchables finished the season 6-2. The number 3 seed. I think the key is to basically hit them in the mouth early. Attack them early. These guys, a lot of guys are curse. A lot of guys that go crazy. So I think you hit them in the mouth first.
So you mean make them frustrated?
Yes, early. Early. They got guys that can make plays. Wesley's been a great player. Simple's been a great player. Image has been a great player. Ant/Ditto has been a great player. Swiss. They got playmakers. The key is nobody really knows about these guys. Nobody really talks about these guys
because they do it quietly. They're not noisemakers. They're not people who want attention. They're just guys that go out and do their job, and that's how it should be for all the teams. You don't need people to talk about you. The most damaging people are the ones you don't know about. Quote my words on that. The ones you don't know about are the ones that can hurt you the most. And I feel like that's the approach that they take.
When I played the game, people knew who I was. I'm not going to be quiet for nobody. You're going to know who I am. And I can back it up in the field. Whatever gets the job done, that's what you do.
Yes.
You're saying this is a quiet team. I know their quarterback got ejected for cursing sometime this season. So I don't think they're as quiet as you think they are.
Well, okay. But I'm talking about in terms of their numbers and what they do throughout the season. They don't have to throw it in your face. Well, I had this amount of touchdowns. I did this. They just go out. They do their job. Almost like you go, you punch in, you do your job, you punch out, you go home. That's how I feel it should be. You don't need to make noise. You just do your job. You go under the radar, and when it matters, that's when you hit them.
Well, they play ball so hard. They play ball so hard. New Breed didn't pay the league fee. They just put it out there, so they escorted out the league. So, ball so hard, got the final spot. 0-8. 0-8. Do you know what 0-8 means? That means they didn't win the game, but they're in the playoffs. It happens because we saw a few years back Seattle Seahawks. Horrible division. They went in the playoffs with a losing record.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about ball so hard. Can I be mistaken any way or form to a Seattle Seahawks team? Ball so hard, quarterbacking wise, need help. I think the UFL needs to get some type of draft order. This needs where people can draft what they need because this team needs a quarterback. They picked up Mike Santos, who was the third string on Rose G's. There was a reason why he was the third string. He's a guy that you can have throw if the quarterback gets hurt or arrested or, has a hangover or something. He's not a guy that I would trust my franchise, my team to quarterback. But as we saw, they have no choice. They have nothing else to go by. So they're going to attempt to have Mike Santos play this game. Mike, you got to attack untouchables early. That don't mean start the game with an interception. Tate, who's all-star on ball so hard, he's also their return man. You need to get yards on the return. Get at least to the 40, right in front of the first down. That way you got half the field to play with, also first down. Anything under that, I think this team is going to be punting a lot. Mm-hmm. Mike Santos is not mobile at all. He can't be mistakenly. I got it. He's as mobile as a statue. That's his mobility, like a statue. So I think that's his mobility was be compared to as a statue. Or a guy running with iron cleats or something like that. The dude is slow. Decent arm. Can throw the ball around the field. This team also has Julian, another all-star. They have Bat, who's underrated. I mean, I think he's not been talked about because he tried to play quarterback. Did a horrible job also. Malcolm, decent receiver, another horrible quarterback. Greg, decent receiver, another horrible quarterback. This, how they say story of hard knocks? Mm-hmm. This is the story of bad quarterbacks on this team. So this team, they need to slow the game down. slow the game down, walk to the huddle, run the clock. You get Untouchables the opportunity to get the ball, they're going to score on you quick because they don't respect your team. They don't. This team is 6-2. They're already looking past y'all to the next round. That's how you sneak up on them. That's what I think. If you make stupid throws, Simple's going to pick you off. If you make stupid throws, Wesley's back there. They got a lot of guys that can make plays. So I think my best remedy for Balsaw is to slow the game down. That's the best thing you can do. Untouchables, speed the game up. Score and get Balsaw's offense on the field as much as possible because they are the weakness of this team. Balsaw's defense is decent. They give up a lot of big plays towards the middle of the game, but that's the key to their defense. Shut down Tate, number 2 on Balsaw. Shut him down. He's a main guy. He's not a deep guy. They like to hit him the ball out the backfield, screens, little dump balls, and he makes moves and try to go down. Contain him. Don't chase him. Let him dance. Shut him down. Keep him like in a little pocket after he gets the ball. Other than that, they don't have anybody that can look at this team and say you have to worry about.
I mean, you just put it in a nutshell. Like, that's all they can do. For Balsahard, you don't want their offense to get on the field because all they're going to do is put up points on you.
You talking about untouchable?
Yes.
Right.
All they're going to do is put up points on you because you don't have the guys on defense to stop all the guys that they have. All of their playmakers. You can't. So what you do is you slow it down on offense, chop up the field the best you can.
Run the clock.
And run the clock and just hope that you can put up as many points as you can. That's the only hope you have to win this game. That's all you can do. So normally I don't agree with you, but on this, there's nothing else I can say. There's nothing else you can do. Just slow the ball down, slow the game down, try your best to put up points, chopping up the field, and keep their offense off the field. That's all you can do. Untouchables, just do what you've been doing. You go on the offense, you score quick, and you get off the field. You let your defense hold you down. My point is, just do what you've been doing. You don't really have to change up what you've been doing. Just do how y'all been doing all season.
What I would tell Untouchables to do is end this game as early as possible because you have a second game. Mercy this team. There's no way this team could hold y'all cleats. So what you do is you humiliate them early. You end their spirit early. That way you can have another guy throw. You can have guys on defense that don't play defense just because you want to keep everybody healthy because you may face the Browns. You may face MVR. So you know in the next round you got the top 1 or 2 seeds. So end this game early. Keep your guys healthy. Ball so hard, do the opposite. Slow the game down. The closer you can keep this game, the better it is for you. If you're not going to win a shootout.
No.
Do not make it a shootout. Slow the game down. Get the clock down, the play clock down to 5 seconds as much as you can. Be the number. I would say the 80s, 90s Cleveland Cavaliers in basketball. They slowed the game down. They moved the ball around for the shot clock to get the last shot off. That's what you do. If you try to shoot out with Untouchables, halftime your game's over. Mm-hmm. You don't have the personnel. You don't have the talent. Don't try to be something you're not. Slow the game down. That being said, I say Untouchables win this game 24-6. I think Tay's going to make a play that gets him in the end zone. So I think he can either on a kickoff return or maybe on a screen. Something like that. A short dump off, whatever. I say 24-6. Untouchables.
Well, in all honesty, I honestly got to pick the Untouchables. There's nothing else I can say.
Were you serious? Did you have to really think about it? You should automatically, when you saw the schedule, okay, let's cut to the chance.
I like to give everybody a fighting chance, but I can't.
We don't give you a commentator a fighting chance. Half the time you don't know what you're talking about.
Like I said, I try to be the fair one, but on this, I say they're going to win 23-0.
23-0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you're kind of leaning on my score, like you've been doing all season.
Honestly, if I'm looking at all the games that they had, this is the scores that they be putting up. So I'm gonna pick a score that they normally put up, and I put up 23-0. I don't see Balsahard scoring at all.
Right.
I don't see them scoring at all. If they was able to put Riot Squad to zip, then they could do the same thing to this team.
Are you trying to say that they're gonna hold Bolsard to minus something? You think you try? It seemed like if they was able to hold a strong team like Ryan Swat to zip, then that means Bolsard is gonna owe points next season. That's what it sounds like you're telling me. Like it's gonna be so bad that Bolsard is gonna come in negative next season because they're gonna need points. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
No, because I'm actually trying to be fair to them, but I don't see them scoring at all.
The biggest question is, and not to jump too far, is Tay coming back with this team? There's a lot of teams that like to have his services, running back, kick returner, out the backfield guy. So, I mean, we'll see in the offseason if he'll be back. Because I'm pretty sure at the end of the game, there's going to be teams that's going to talk to him. I heard LPAC was possibly interested. I heard Riot Squad was possibly interested. Mm-hmm. You had teams that saw this guy's talent and said, wait a minute, this guy can make moves. He can make plays. So, is he going to be with this team next season? Now, we're going kind of far, but we basically ending Ball So Hard season early. So we might as well talk about, they should be focused on next season. You know, we're going to have, even for y'all, we're going to set up a gone fishing segment at the end of the, you know how they doing basketball? So Michael will get pictures of y'all, and y'all could go fishing. You can make an upset, don't get me wrong. We're not disrespecting you as a team, but we're just going by what you showed us this season. So that being said, he picks them 23-0 untouchables. I say 24-6 untouchables. So the last game we're going to talk about is underrated Brick Squad. I think that's the game of the day. Brick Squad got humiliated against the Browns. 27-0. Jingo, the coach of the Browns, figured out how you shut this team down. He said, one, you neutralize their ball giver / linebacker. The defensive end linebacker, which is Milo, up there for defensive player of the year. He has 11 sacks. You neutralize him. He had 1 sack today. That's how you shut him down. I think Brick Squad's problem was they kept him at ball giver. They didn't put him at linebacker where he blitzes the quarterback well. They had him most at ball giver, which I think they neutralized his ability to drop back in coverage and to pressure the quarterback. Because he even have schemes that he'll fake like he's dropping back into coverage and then blitz. Mm-hmm. So I think Brick Squad kind of shot themselves in the foot. They got to put this guy back at his position, which is linebacker. Let him float around the field, let him make plays. That's what they need to do. That's what Brick Squad need to do. Crazy got to understand he leads this team. Him and Spaz can't go at it. You know, Spaz decides to become a tight end. I think he's up there for comeback player of the year. Been playing very well. Also, the other guy who doesn't have a name, number 80, another guy. Crazy got to find these guys against underrated. They got to end underrated early. Early. They got the weapons to do it. Number 80 they have. They have Spaz. Crazy's even mobile. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that's another thing that Jingle figured out. Every time Crazy went to turn the corner to run, stopped. Mm-hmm. Because they had a ball giver there to shut him down. Another thing you got to talk about with Brick Squad is Crazy is a great defender. True. He's a good defender out there. I believe he plays safety. Right. He's a good safety. He even had an interception in that last game against the Browns. True. He was able to read one of Reggie's throws and pick it off. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Which got Jingo very upset. Yes. So I'm gonna say this. You gotta give him respect, at least as a defender. He's another one that plays both sides of the field, just like Rudy. He's a guy, he has at least 3 interceptions this season as a safety. You know, so he can do it on both sides. And they need him to be productive on both sides. Spaz has about 1 or 2 interceptions on defense, so he's another decent defender. They need these guys to play and be in the game. Once they're out of it, their whole team shuts down. Then they have Prodigy, who emerged on that Week 7 game against New Breed, who had 2 touchdowns and a lot of catches all through the field. These are guys that they need to step up because they need to go to them early. Well, they lost to underrated 7-6. Mm-hmm. And remember, there was a controversy call if the guy got the extra point on the line. They need to attack them early. I think talent-wise, Brick Squad is better than underrated, intelligent-wise, and ability to keep calm and relaxed, and I think underrated is better than Brick Squad. I think underrated doesn't get rattled no matter who they play. No. They keep calm, they keep their focus, And I think that if the game gets crazy and Brick Squad starts acting up, underrated got this game.
But I'm going to say this. A thing about underrated is a lot of times when Sniper's throwing, in all honesty, their offense shoots themselves in the foot.
All the time.
All of their games, their offense is what kills them. Their defense, they play decent or whatever. They keep them in the game. But their offense is what makes them lose games.
Right.
One, Sniper does not like to get sacked. He needs to learn that there's certain plays that he has to get the sack. He has to, take the sack and move on to the next play. You can't throw the ball when you're not sure and throw a pick. Half the season you've been doing that. Sometimes you just got to take the sack. You only lose about 4 or 5 yards.
Right.
It doesn't hurt you that much. The world does not end when you get sacked. Take the sack and maybe you can have a bigger play the next play. Now, with that said, Sniper has guys that doesn't always play for him too. They drop passes. Sometimes they don't run routes properly. They don't get open. Certain times where they're not looking off the line. So my point is, y'all guys gotta help Sniper out. At certain points, he shoots himself in the foot, but y'all guys don't help on offense neither. Y'all have a couple of guys on offense. Y'all have MJ. Y'all have Robert. Y'all have number 25, I believe. I mean, y'all have guys on offense that can put up points. But y'all gotta help him out there. Y'all gotta look off the line. Y'all gotta run proper routes.
Exactly.
And y'all gotta catch the ball. If that all happens the way we say it, I feel underrated can give any team in this league a challenge.
I mean, I agree with you. I think they have an opportunity. I think they need to get the ball to MJ. MJ is their best, one of their best, I would say their best player on the team. He could take the team to the next level. He's an all-star. I think that if underrated could sit down, watch the game tape. I mean, you have it online. If you go to the UFL and you go to YouTube, you check the video, they can understand the mistakes that they made against Brick Squad because we broke down that game for them. I think underrated is a team that people slept on. They ended the season 4-4. They haven't been able to beat big teams. This was a big team that they beat. They beat Brick Squad.
Yeah.
I think Brick Squad, even though Brick Squad is the number 5 seed.
Yeah, but they started off very slow. They were not the team that they are now. We weren't talking about them this way, even though I kind of saw the potential, but we were not talking about Brick Squad the way we are now. As a playoff contender. Remember, we said that they're pretenders.
Right.
And week 2, we said they were pretenders. So, my point is, they were not the same team that they are now.
Right.
So, you got to look at them differently. They beat them then because they were not the same team. So, now you got to take them seriously. They have a solid defense, one of the better zone defenses out there, which is Jingo, who's up there for Coach of the Year. This is his words. He said they have a great zone defense. You got to watch. You got to shut down their linebacker. And you got to watch Crazy and certain defenders out there.
Yeah, Keith says Crazy likes to sit back in the pocket, deep. He likes to sit in that zone and roam around. So what they did was they took him out to play. Mm-hmm. They wanted to keep taking him out to play and make other players on their defense make plays, which as you saw what happened. Crazy was able to get one interception, but they wasn't able to stop the Browns offense. And I think that's how you attack Brick Squad. Don't let Crazy make plays. Get him out. Shut down Milo's blitz. Shut him down. Make him play coverage. He's not a great cover guy. He had one interception, but we haven't really seen him make a lot of big plays. Shut him down blitzing.
Mm-hmm. And I say Brick Squad, they have a great zone defense, but one thing that they're weak on, once you take Crazy out to play as safety, their cornerbacks are weak.
Right.
I see that their cornerbacks are kind of weak, and I feel like that's where the Browns really attack the corners. They attack the corners time and time again. And that's how they were able to put up so many points on Brick Squad and take them out the game early. So I feel that if you attack the corners, that's their weak spot. Take Crazy out the game. Take Crazy out the defense by sending somebody up deep for them to follow and attack the corners. And that's how you get to Brick Squad. This is something that underrated needs to do to get through to that zone defense. Because they have a solid middle defense. Spaz is a decent linebacker as well that can guard the middle. So you attack the corners, and I feel like you could put up points against this zone defense.
Well, the way you beat underrated is Sniper cannot run the ball. So you fool him with different blitz packages. you don't only blitz Milo from the corner because teams are starting to realize that that's the only threat that they have on defense. So you could blitz a corner. You blitz spats. You blitz different guys. You fake Milo up, drop him in the coverage, blitz somebody else. You gotta confuse Sniper.
And you do not wait until the down, like 4th down, where you know the blitz is coming.
Blitz on second.
Never blitz.
On first.
I'm going
right.
to tell you this. Never blitz on 4th down. And this goes out to the league. Because once 4th down come and they know you have a blitz, you're going to use it.
Unless,
So-
I mean, it depends where you're in the field.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If it's close up first, then you can't blitz once the team
Yeah.
punts. So certain times, if you know they're out of pump, they'll be out of pump formation. Why even take a chance to blitz on save it for 4th down and you might never get a chance to use it?
Exactly.
Attempt to be different, people.
Even if you use it on 1st down where they don't expect it, 1 down taken out hurts.
Yeah.
Especially when they're all the way away from the 1st down or far from the end zone. But blitz on 1st down, blitz on 2nd down, mix it up. At least 1 to 3rd down, you should be working on that blitz and sending somebody from a different side. Even if you send a corner to blitz, they won't expect that. They won't see it coming. So Brick Squad needs to mix that up as well. On both sides, they need to mix up the blitz because the blitz is big in our league.
Once again, like I said, you attack Mike with different blitzes, and then you play them in man. I don't think Sniper's a great man-on-man throwing quarterback because he don't have no receivers that really can get open. MJ is a good receiver, but is he a big-time receiver? We haven't seen that. So I think you play the team on a lot of man coverage, man-on-man. Everybody blocks up. Make Sniper make a play. Now, this is the key. If they leave a guy to block, right, then you play man and you have one person that can roam. Simple. Sniper's not beating you with the run. He is not a runner. So you don't worry about the run. Play them in a man, make Sniper beat you with his arm. And I will be more focused on the crossing routes than the deep route. Sniper does not have a big arm going downfield. He can throw downfield, but he doesn't have a big arm. So that's what I would do. That's how I would beat underrated. Make Sniper beat me downfield with bombs, take away his crossing route, take away his chopping up the field, and blitz him. Blitz him. And attack that defense early. Go downfield against them, punch them in the mouth because I've seen them get upset with each other, which is what the Browns did to underrated. They had this team so upset with each other that it cost them the game.
It's just funny that the Browns and underrated were in the same situation when they played the Browns. They both were taken out of the game. They were frustrated.
The Browns, you mean underrated and
well,
Brick Squad.
underrated
Yeah?
and Brick Squad played the Browns, and they both got frustrated because they got to understand the Browns watches every team in this league. They take
watch
every
the videos
seriously.
They got stats and they watch you on the field and they do their homework. So that's what you do. I've been killing them all year, but based on what I saw last week from Brick Squad, I would have to pick underrated for this game. I would say underrated wins this game 19-14. 19-14, I think underrated wins this game. I think Brick Squad is going to lose it. I think they have too much pressure on themselves right now. I don't think this team is going to be focused, so I'm going to have to pick underrated 19-14.
Well, this is a hard decision for me because I like both teams. These are two teams I actually spoke for all season. So to pit them against each other is putting me on the spot. But I ultimately gotta pick Brick Squad to emerge from this game 18-12. 18-13 actually. Correct me. 18-13 is my pick. One, because Brick Squad is not really big on the extra point, but at the same time, I feel like they have enough to stop Sniper from putting up as much points as he usually would put up. Because I feel that their defense will mess with Sniper. I feel that Sniper again is gonna hurt them with not taking a sack. Hopefully he'll learn his lesson in this game, but I doubt it. So I pick Brick Squad 18-13.
Okay, and that'll do it for the wild card. We're gonna go to a commercial. It's gonna be hard for us to decide the number 1, number 2 seed games because we don't know who's gonna win. So what we'll do is we'll talk about them seeds, how we think what these teams do well, and how you beat them. So we're gonna tell you what we think Reckless does well, how to beat them. Same thing as every other team. So we're gonna talk about the Browns. We're gonna talk about Reckless. We're gonna talk about LPAC, and we're gonna talk about MVR. How we feel, what they do well, and how would you beat them. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show real quick, and we're gonna just tell you how you would beat the higher seeds in these divisions. First, I'll start with LPAC. LPAC weakness is, the way you beat them is the quarterback play. You got to figure out which Moses is going to show up. We've seen a confident Moses. We've seen kind of doubting himself Moses. So that's the main thing. You just got to figure out who. If he's not the confident Moses, you can beat this team. So that's the key. They have a weak middle. Attack Cess. He plays the middle linebacker. A lot of times Swagger plays linebacker, but he also drops to the corner. So you can attack that middle. The middle's weak. If you're going to play against Swagger, put a fast guy on his side. If you put a guy slower than him, he'll sit in the zone and cheat, and he looks for interceptions. So keep speed on his side. That way he has to focus on his zone. If you pay attention, that's how Reckless was able to score on time and that touchdown against them. They put a fast guy. It was hard for Swagger to focus on what was going on. He got beat in the back. They have LPAC has too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Too many Chiefs, too many guys that think they know this, think they know that. They should be playing this, they should be playing that. That's one of their downfalls also. And that's it. That's it. You gotta again attack the middle. On defense, make them take you downfield. Make Moses throw bombs. He's not a great downfield thrower. He has a great arm for the zip. So tighten up in the middle, take away that quick looks over the middle, make him go downfield. Their strength is they have a lot of playmakers. So you got to be careful. And you can't sleep on Moses just throwing. Shaq will be on the sideline, and once he comes into the game, Moses goes to a receiver, and that's when this team is very strong. So you got to watch that. Now, the next one I'll talk about, my partner will go next to the other East team, which would be Reckless.
Which will be Reckless. Okay. Their weakness for Reckless is they get emotional during the game. Once they get emotional, they start going at it with each other and stuff like that. That's when they get out of the game, and ultimately that ends up with them losing. What else is what you do to beat them is make Bug throw downfield. Take Bishop out the play on defense, as well as on offense, because he's their playmaker on offense as well. You take him out to play on defense.
Bishop number 12.
Yes, number 12. You take him out on defense, he's going to get frustrated and start to cheat. And once he starts to cheat, that's when you attack him. And you will get plays on him once he starts to cheat. That's all I have on Reckless.
All right, now I'll tell you about the Browns. Reggie cannot run. He's not mobile. So what you do is, if you can hold their defense, which is by the way you beat them, is you can't show them one certain coverage. So what I would like to play is, I will play a zone man against them. I would show them the zone, but pick up man on 3 rush. Reggie has a good enough arm that he allows his receivers get open, and then he hits them on a cut. Play them in the zone. You're already sitting in that zone, and then on 3, by the time they make their moves, go man. Once again, Reggie cannot run the ball. He's not a great runner. He'll take a sack, which you can push his team back and slow the game down with them. Do not get into a shootout. When you're on offense against them, overload. They have a tremendously great secondary. Overload on them. Make them have to shift. That way, when you run your routes, you can make different type of routes, cutting over the middle, going downfield. So call a lot of overloads. That way, they can't stay spread out. That's what I would do against them. And VR?
And VR, one thing I could say is they don't have any downfield receivers. They don't have any receivers that's going to get that bomb. So what you do is you force Fred to throw deep. That doesn't mean that he can't throw deep, but he's less successful when he's throwing deep bombs. He's lights out when it comes to chopping up the field. And so what you do is you prevent him from chopping up the field by playing the zone, taking out the short, make him throw deep. They're less successful that way. And on defense, what you got to do is you open up the field by sending receivers deep. And then once the corners and the safeties are out the play, you attack the middle. All you do is you send the receivers deep, take out their deep guys, and then attack the middle. Once you do that, their middle is weak, and you attack it all day.
Shut down Yomi on offense for MVR. Fred has been finding Yomi all day. Shut him down. Get somebody. I don't care if you have to play man on man with him. It's hard because he's a tight end with big body and he's about 6'3", 6'2". So he's a big target, but you got to shut down, stop his touches, and you'll be able to come away with a victory. These are things that we saw throughout the season. We think these are the best things to do to beat these teams. Now we're going to give you our picks for this round. Remember, we have 2 rounds going on at once. We have the wild card round, then we have the next round. So we're going to give you our scores, who we think is going to make it to the next round to play the top seeds. I picked the underrated to face the Browns. Underrated will beat Brick Squad, but I think the Browns is going to beat them bad and beat them 25-0. That's my pick for that game. I got Untouchables beating Ball so hard and going to play MVR in the next round. I think MVR wins that game 20-7. I got YMM beating Riot Squad to face LPAC in the next round. I got YMM winning that game 20-12. And I got Hunts Point facing Reckless, meaning Hunts Point is going to beat the Black Stallion. They'll face the number 1 seed Reckless, and I got Reckless winning that game 21-6.
Well, I got the Browns playing Brick Squad. For the Brick Squad, I already picked for one beating underrated. So I have the Browns beating them 22-0. I feel because the Browns already know Brick Squad. They know actually both of these teams. They know underrated and they know the Browns, but they know Brick Squad.
Right.
I mean, they know underrated and they know Brick Squad, but they are gonna beat Brick Squad because they know their whole scheme, they know their whole team, and I feel like they're just gonna shut them down early. They're gonna win 22-0. NVR, I feel they're gonna beat Untouchables 18-6. I have Untouchables playing NVR in their division final or whatever, but I feel NVR is gonna, beat them early. Their offense is gonna put up points early, and their defense is gonna ultimately make JR frustrated, and they're gonna only hold them to 6 points. Now on that, I have the Black Stallions playing LPAC. On their final game, I have LPAC winning 13-7. I feel that Moses is gonna come and he's gonna do his job. He's not gonna dominate, but I feel like he's gonna be able to put up enough points for them to win the game. And with the I have Riot Squad playing Reckless. I have Reckless, shooting out with them. I feel like Reckless is gonna beat them ultimately 20-14. I think Rudy is gonna be able to put up points, but I feel like it's not going to be enough to stop Reckless. So I feel the game is going to be won by 1 touchdown. I feel it's going to be 20-14.
All right, people. So we're going to wrap up the show. Hopefully you liked the little All-Star preview that he had for you this week. Next week we'll have the full All-Star video, all the players that made it. We'll break down more of the contenders for the awards. Remember, we have Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year, and Quarterback of the Year. So we'll have all those awards. Again, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Quarterback. So we'll see y'all guys next week. Hopefully, like I said, we ran through the show a little bit. We didn't want to focus on Week 7 because we wanted to really get into the playoffs. So, hope y'all liked it. Season's almost over. We're going to do the best we can with filming. We see y'all guys on the field. Have a good one.